In a world of shadows, where fears take flight, let's journey through horrors in the dead of night. A car in the rain, under night's deep frown, drives alone, lost as the storm bears down. A child and a drain, where dark secrets float, in the echo of laughter, where nightmares gloat. Long halls of silence, where whispers call, echoing madness in the endless hall. In the ocean's embrace, where secrets dwell, beneath the waves lies a watery hell. Cornfields whisper under the moon's soft scorn. Secrets rustle in the stalks of corn. A cabin lies hidden where dark tales should, in the heart of the silent, ominous wood. In the mirror's gaze, where shadows dance, reflections twist in a ghostly trance. Through this rhyme of fear, our tales are spun. In the dance of shadows, our journey's just begun.
Muggs, what the fuck you doing in there, you prick?
Yeah, I done did a lot of things in my day. I admit it, I don't take back what I say. If I said it, then I meant it. All my life I won a Grammy, but I probably never get it. I ain't never had no trophy or no motherfucking ribbon. Fuck the system, I'm that nigga. Bend the law, cut the rules. I'm about to risk it all. I ain't got too much to lose. Y'all been eating long enough. It's my turn to cut the food. Pass the plate, with my drink. This my day. Lucky you, fuck you too. Woo!
Analyzing Evil, Roy DeMeo, the Butcher of Brooklyn. A Pizzaverse Studios educational psychological documentary. Written by Bambi Palermo, narrated by Vincent DiPrio, produced by the Pizzaverse Task Force. He ran a murder factory out of a bar in Canarsie. He wasn't the kind of guy who killed out of passion. He killed out of process. Brooklyn, 1970s. The smell of gasoline and hot asphalt in the summer air, the crack of pool cues in the back of smoky bars, and one man quietly building a machine of death under the nose of one of the biggest crime families in America. His name was Roy Albert DeMeo, and he redefined what it meant to be a killer in organized crime. But Roy wasn't your typical wise guy. He wasn't impulsive, emotional, or even loyal in the traditional sense. He was an experimenter, a man who fused the discipline of a businessman, the skills of a butcher, and the detachment of a sociopath into one of the most lethal formulas in mafia history. This is the story of a man who turned murder into manufacturing. The making of a monster. Roy DeMeo came up in Flatlands, Brooklyn, your average Italian-American kid, middle-class family, Catholic upbringing. On paper, he could have been a deli owner, a mechanic, or maybe a butcher, which, funnily enough, he actually was. But here's where the psychology kicks in. Roy wasn't born evil. Like most predators, he grew into it. He had all the classic markers, early narcissistic traits. A fascination with control, a craving for respect and status, and most importantly, a comfort with violence that most people can't stomach. He was the kind of guy who figured out early that fear was faster than friendship. As a teenager, he ran small hustles, stolen cars, loan sharking. But even then, there was something off. Guys said he'd smile during fights. Not a tough guy grin, a calm, detached smirk, like he was watching himself from the outside. That's Psychopathy 101, emotional disconnection. The gaggy connection. Every monster needs a mentor, and Roy found his in Anthony Nino Gaggy, a made man in the Gambino family. Gaggy saw in Roy what most bosses saw in young psychos, potential. Roy was loyal, ruthless, and ambitious, 3 things you can't teach. But unlike other enforcers, Roy had brains. He ran numbers like a Wall Street shark and made himself invaluable. Before long, he had his own operation, the DeMeo Crew. Members included Joey Testa and Anthony Center, the Gemini twins, Henry Borelli, Chris Rosenberg, a young kid Roy practically adopted, and a string of car thieves, junkies, and psychos who worshipped him like a god. They ran scams, loans, and car theft operations, but what set them apart was the cold efficiency of their murders. The Gemini Method. The Gemini Lounge, a little bar on Flatlands Avenue, looked like any Brooklyn watering hole. Beer signs, jukebox, old men arguing about the Yankees. But behind a hidden door, it was an abattoir. Roy invented what the FBI later called the Gemini Method, a three-step kill process. 1. The victim walks in, greeted like family. 2. One man shoots him in the head, another stabs him in the heart to stop the bleeding, and a towel muffles the noise. 3. The body's dragged into the back room, hung like a side of beef, and dismembered. Meat saws, plastic sheets, industrial cleaners, everything meticulous. Roy treated it like a business. That's where the psychology deepens. Roy wasn't acting out of rage. He had no emotional arousal from the act. What he enjoyed was the order, the control, the predictability of death. This is called instrumental violence, using murder as a tool, not an emotion. Classic psychopathic pattern. To Roy, a body was just the output of a system. Inside the psyche. From a psychological standpoint, Roy DeMeo was a hybrid, a narcissistic sociopath with obsessive-compulsive traits. Let's break that down. Narcissistic. He saw himself as above the rules. The Gambino Code was a convenience, not a conviction. Sociopathic. He lacked empathy, remorse, or fear. Obsessive-compulsive. He was fanatically neat. Every murder was planned, processed, catalogued. What's interesting is that his control obsession wasn't limited to crime. It infected his personal life. He micromanaged his family, tracked his crew's girlfriends, even obsessed over his own weight and wardrobe. It's what psychologists call totalistic control, an all-consuming need to dominate every variable in life, because chaos equals vulnerability. And that's what DeMeo feared most. Not death, not the cops, but loss of control. The business of blood. By the late 1970s, Roy wasn't just killing people. He was running a multi-million-dollar empire. His car theft ring, Operation Empire Boulevard, shipped hundreds of stolen vehicles overseas every year. He was laundering cash through legitimate businesses, running pornography rings, and dabbling in drugs, something Big Paul Castellano, the Gambino boss, had forbidden. Roy's ambition outgrew his loyalty, and in the mob that's the kiss of death. From a behavioral psych angle, this is grandiose risk behavior, a common phase where psychopaths start believing they're untouchable. Roy's murders escalated. His paranoia did too. He started carrying a gun everywhere, sleeping with a shotgun beside the bed, and recording his thoughts on cassette tapes. That's not just arrogance, that's deterioration. A man whose empire was rotting from the inside out. The Fall. 1982. The FBI's got files stacked a foot high. Informants start flipping. Roy's associates vanish or wind up dead. His paranoia spikes. His mentor, Nino Gaggi, is facing indictments. Big Paul Castellano sees the writing on the wall. DeMeo's too hot, too wild, too visible. And then, the inevitable. Roy gets called in for a meeting. January 10th, 1983, he disappears. 10 days later, his body's found frozen in the trunk of his car outside the Verrazano Bridge. Multiple gunshot wounds, no ceremony, no closure, just irony, the butcher butchered. The psychology of oblivion. So what drives a man like Roy DeMeo? 3 things: control, validation, and power, all rooted in deep psychological insecurity. Roy's entire identity depended on others fearing him. He didn't crave love, he craved submission. His ego was a black hole that could never be filled, only fed. Every kill, every dollar, every terrified look was a momentary fix. This is what's known in psychology as malignant narcissism, when ego and sadism merge. It's not about money or survival, it's about godhood. Roy saw himself as a creator and destroyer, judge, jury, executioner. But beneath that, there was nothing, just emptiness wearing a gold chain. Legacy of fear. Roy DeMeo's name still echoes in mob lore. The Gemini Lounge is a ghost story in Brooklyn. Every young gangster knows it, not for what it was, but what it symbolized. You can make money, you can make moves, but if you make yourself bigger than the family, you die alone. Psychologists, criminologists, and historians still study DeMeo because he blurred the line between organized crime and serial murder. He wasn't killing for chaos, he killed to maintain order, his order. And that's what makes him terrifying. He wasn't insane, he was efficient. The lesson. Evil doesn't always wear a monster's face. Sometimes it smiles, buys you a drink, and asks if you want to step into the back room. Roy DeMeo wasn't just a killer, he was a case study in how systems protect sociopaths until they self-destruct. He proved that in the world of organized crime, evil ain't always loud. Sometimes it's organized, structured, and polite. This has been Analyzing Evil. Roy DeMeo, the Butcher of Brooklyn, brought to you by Pizzaverse Studios. If you like deep dives into the dark corners of psychology, history, and crime, hit that subscribe button, tap the bell, and join the Pizzaverse task force. Because here, we don't just tell stories, we dissect the monsters that made them. Thanks for watching.
When I go into that ground, I won't go quietly, I'm bringing my crown. When I go into that ground, oh, they gotta bury me face down. From the rubble, what do I see? There's a whole damn army thinking that they're gonna harm me, saying that I'll never get free. Oh, I got troubles, they won't let me be. But I won't get tired, set the town on fire till my troubles got trouble with me. Thinking that they've won, it's only just begun. When I go into that ground, I won't go quietly, I'm bringing my crown. And when I go into that ground, oh, they gotta bury me face down. I've been on the run since I was a boy, but now I'm done running, got another thing coming, watch my enemies get destroyed. Oh, I got troubles of more than one kind, but I never sleep, gotta bury me 6 feet deep where the sun don't shine. Thinking that they've won, it's only just begun. When I go into that ground, I won't go quietly, I'm bringing my crown. And when I go wanted with a bounty on my head. But somehow, some way, I'ma keep moving along, thinking that they've won. It's only just begun. When I go into that ground, I won't go quietly. I'm bringing my crown. And when I go into that ground, oh, they gotta bury me face down. Oh, they gotta bury me face down.